being a quarantine hotel is really very much to support the community. But thankfully, we've been in a positive EBITDA all this time, and our numbers are doing. It's, of course, not during the pre-pandemic level, but we're not far off, especially in some. I mean, in different cities to cities, but we're not very far off.
And the company, as you say, is doing better than others. But when it comes to revenue and profits, it's still falling compared to pre-pandemic levels. What is your view on the path to recovery now for Dorsett and your portfolio of hotels?
Yes, of course. I mean, definitely, because the cost has also, gone up with the health and hygiene standard, because we're using a lot of medical equipment and also the whole the aircon system. So the cost is actually not cheap doing a quarantine hotel. So definitely, our revenue and also, of course, the occupancy is not like the same before. In terms of recovery, again, in each country is very much different. So we have opened a hotel during the COVID in Australia. That's the Ritz-Carlton Perth. We're lucky with that hotel because places like Australia is very much domestic travel. So we have had good occupancy with around 60% average, maybe 80%, because staycation goes up. So I think this question is a very good question, but in each city and country is a little bit different. Like places even like Japan, we have opened 3 hotels during this time of pandemic. We've opened 2 hotels in Kyoto, 1 in Ginza, and they're doing okay because of a lot of domestic travel and the boosters from the government. In Japan, there's the go-to travel, whereby the government give you allowances to travel.
Differs maybe market to market, but when do you expect things to go back to pre-pandemic levels? Do you have any kind of crystal ball right now?
I don't think anyone will have a crystal ball, but if you ask me, I think at least another year. We are really redesigning some of our product. I think consumer behavior will change. I mean, it is a very big, impactful. COVID is huge in terms of impact on all industry and consumer behavior. So I do feel that if you look at surveys and if I just look at not Hong Kong but my global statistics, people are traveling, but their length of stay is longer, and hence December we're launching our first long stay product, a service apartment, Dao by Dorsett in London.
Walk us through a little bit more about the future of travel. What are some trends that you see that are maybe short term, and what are some things that are actually more permanent?
Sure. If you look at like surveys, people that really 40% that people urge to travel at the moment is really visiting families and friends. And in the last 2 years, I guess that's really put in a standstill. So you can already, like in terms of the recovery, we're really seeing people as traveling, staying a bit longer to visit their family and things like that. So, but I think that this will neutralize, once we're more out of the pandemic situation. The pandemic has definitely accelerated people's investment into technology. As a group, for ourselves, we're definitely investing into much more contactless things, contactless lift, contactless check-in, and things like that. And of course, I think people will be more concerned about air quality and all this, and I think it's very important that we embrace it as a company.
What are you seeing in your different portfolio of hotels, whether it's Australia, Europe? Are things coming back in a bigger way than you expected?
Definitely in Europe, we're seeing a lot of UK and Europe that the numbers are really going up, and we can see the pace of, I think what we always look at is the pace of booking. That's really come back quite strong. And Australia and Japan, because of the domestic travel and no longer they're in lockdown, so you can really see much more staycation coming forward. China has been on a growth since a year ago, and it's really resumed back to almost normal, yes.
What's the group's plan for further expansion?
We're a city strategy company, so we like to actually have hotels in the cities that we are already in. And we very much like, so in the UK, London, definitely we're looking at Manchester. In Australia, where we already have our presence, we are opening Gold Coast. That is Boxing Day, we'll be opening Gold Coast, and we're open in Perth, we're going to open in Brisbane, Sydney, as well as Melbourne.
What's the transformation that you want to see for Far Eastern Consortium? You guys are been in business for 70 years since your grandfather started this company.
Yeah.
What is the vision then, as a third generation, on how to transform the business moving forward?
Next year is our 50-year being listed in Hong Kong Stock Exchange, so that's a really milestone for us. In terms of transformation, we want to grow with the city that we are in, and we have, since my grandfather's time, always been quite global. And it's actually most enjoyable because we've always been in kind of entertainment and consumer related. So during my grandfather's time, we're in cinemas, we're also in theme parks, TV stations, and as different entertainment take place. So we're in property development now, as well as hotel. And so in different generation, we have always been very close to the customers. And most important is that we need to always think that we are together growing with the customer. And we like to always do kind of even with hotels, we're more prone to do 4-star hotels. We like to really do more kind of mid-class products.
I mean, looking ahead, I'm just wondering, the next 5-10 years, what's the vision there? And in the end of the day, when you look back on your work in the family business, what sort of legacy do you want to leave behind?
I always believe that we must, as a business, continually grow. Since I started in 2010, we were at 11 hotels, and now we're at 64 hotels. Definitely, we would want to grow our portfolio more. In terms of product, we have our 4-star Dorsett, we have 3-star Silka, and we've just added Dow service residence in, and we do hope that we will expand our global footprint. In terms of legacy, I want to leave behind that is really making a difference and hopefully also influencing more and just to make a difference for our future generations.